Hi, I'm Alan Sagano. I'm the president of ADS Consulting Group, and this is the third video in a series of videos about the spreadsheet that the Department of Homeland Security has released about advanced persistence threats coming from Iran. So now we're going to do a deeper dive into the execution column. So without further ado, let's take a look and see what's going on in the execution column. Hi, I'm Alan Sagano. I'm the president of ADS Consulting Group, and today we're talking about the Department of Homeland Security has compiled a spreadsheet about Iranian advanced persistent threats, and this particular video is covering the execution column. So if you look at this PowerShell, scheduled tasks, command line interface, scripting, user execution, and WMI, those are the biggest attack vectors when it comes to execution of things that they're running on your computer that shouldn't be. So let's drill down to each one of these. Exploitation for a client was a known vulnerability in WinRAR, which is kind of like a zip program. So that was the first way they got in. Another one was with PowerShell, was used to download files from a C2, so command and control server, and run various scripts. They were also able to run scheduled tasks that executed looks like a Visual Basic script multiple times a day, as well as user execution, lured users to click links to the malicious HTML files delivered via spear phishing emails, which kind of ties back to the spear phishing attack over here. So this one is really kind of, I would call it more spear phishing more than anything. On the oil rig, PowerShell again, used a macro to run a PowerShell line to decode file contents, scheduled tasks to run a VB script on victim machine, scripting to run batch files or VB scripts. Also used macros to deliver a quad agent and something else it says here. I don't know. It looks like that was cut off. User execution, oil rig delivered malicious links and macro-enabled documents that enable content to execute on the payload when they downloaded it, and then WMI execution. On APT 3035, looks like they executed a PowerShell to download paper uses PowerShell for execution. APT 39, again, scheduled tasks, scripting, and spear phishing, which I think is more tied. That's basically a bait to click on a link. Copy kittens, PowerShell, and run DLL. So a lot of these basically are, we see a lot of PowerShell. Let's go back to the summary here. A lot of PowerShell, a lot of scheduled tasks, a lot of scripting. So a couple of things here. What you can do is Jeremy Moskowitz's software called Policy Pack can basically whitelist only applications that are allowed to run. That is one countermeasure you could use. In other words, if it's not on the whitelist, don't let it run. I'm not sure if he can block batch files or VBS scripts. I would follow up with him to see if he can do that, but I know for sure he can block executables that are not allowed to run. That would be one thing. Also, another countermeasure is to limit administrator access. So you don't want to have users run with administrator privileges. So some of these PowerShell scripts, oftentimes in order for them to really be effective, they need to run with admin creds. So you don't want to run with admin creds only when you need it. And if you're an administrator of a network, right, you're supposed to have two sets of accounts, one for administrator access only when you're doing administrator functions, and another account when you're just Joe Blow user not doing administrator functions. Other things you can do here, especially on the user execution for malicious links, is have a firewall that checks for malicious links going out to CNC servers, command and control servers, and block those types of things. So you need a firewall that is looking for those types of advanced threats, not one that just does packet filtering. That is just not good enough anymore. Other thing you can look for are things that there are pieces of software that will allow you to monitor if a special task is set to run, blocking BB scripts. Another one that comes to mind is this one in particular is keep up to date with patches, right? So you got to keep up to date with patches and make sure that you're currently patched. Now, when a vulnerability is exposed, you have about 3 days before hackers have developed an exploit to take advantage of that vulnerability. So you need to patch and patch often and relatively aggressively. And I know it's kind of the vein of an IT administrator's existence, as patching has it's like sticking needles in your eye, but it is something that is becoming more and more important. Another one that I saw here was this one was, don't ever enable macros on your on Word files, on Excel files, especially ones that have been that are attached to emails. Just a really bad idea. So to summarize, to protect against execution, definitely limit your administrator control access. Think about whitelisting applications so that unknown applications just don't run, period. Make sure you stay up to date on patches. That's how that WinRAR one right here, this WinRAR got in, WinWRAR, and limit administrator access when you're running regular files. So that's it. Hopefully you like this content. If you do, we'll keep making it. Please hit that subscribe button. Thanks a lot for listening, and we'll talk to you soon.